I've lived in this city my whole life, and I'm used to the trick of the light under the yellow hum of the street lamps. But tonight, walking home from the late shift, something felt off. The moon was high and the street was empty. I was walking past the old park. When I glanced down at the pavement, I saw my shadow, long and thin, stretching out in front of me. But then I saw it, a second shadow. It was darker than the first, a deep, oily black that seemed to soak into the asphalt. It wasn't coming from a different light source. It was attached to my heels, just like the first one. I stopped. My primary shadow stopped instantly, but the second shadow kept walking. It took 2 more steps, its heavy boots echoing, even though it was just a silhouette on the ground. And then it froze. My heart hammered. I stayed perfectly still. I slowly raised my right arm. My first shadow mimicked me perfectly. The second shadow stayed still, its arms hanging limp at its sides. "Okay," I whispered, my voice trembling. "I'm just tired. My brain is glitching." I started walking again, faster this time. The second shadow followed, but it was out of sync. It was moving with a predatory grace, its strides longer than mine. Every time I passed under a street lamp, the first shadow would flip to the other side of me, like it was supposed to. But the second shadow stayed behind me, growing larger, taller, and wider. I reached my apartment building and fumbled with my keys. I looked down one last time before heading inside. The second shadow was no longer flat on the ground. It was peeling itself off the pavement. The head and shoulders were rising up against the brick wall of the building, turning into a 3-dimensional shape made of pure, flickering darkness. I slammed the door and bolted it. I leaned against the wood, gasping for air. I was safe. Shadows can't pass through solid doors. I walked into my living room and turned on every light I had. Lamps, overheads, even the kitchen light. I wanted to drown the room in brightness so there wouldn't be a single dark corner left. I stood in the center of the room and looked down. I had 4 different shadows now, cast by the various lamps. I counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I saw a 5th. It was standing directly behind the shadow cast by the floor lamp. It wasn't on the floor anymore. It was standing upright on the wall, its silhouette perfectly mimicking my terrified posture. I watched in horror as the shadow reached into its own waistband and pulled out a shadow of a knife. In the real world, my hands were empty. I looked at the wall, then at my own hands, then back at the wall. The second shadow stepped out of my own silhouette. It walked across the wallpaper, independent of any light. It leaned close to the shadow of my ear. I didn't hear a voice. I felt a cold, sharp vibration in my skull. "You've been the shadow for 28 years, Mark," the darkness whispered. "It's my turn to walk in the sun." I felt a sudden, violent tug on my feet. I looked down and saw my own skin beginning to turn gray, then black. I was becoming flat, 2-dimensional, sinking into the hardwood floor. I looked up, and there he was, a man who looked exactly like me. But his eyes were like twin solar eclipses, black holes where light went to die. He picked up my keys, checked his reflection in the mirror, and smiled. As I was stretched out across the floor, nothing more than a dark stain under his boots, he walked toward the door. "Don't worry," he said, stepping out into the hallway. "I'll make sure to stay in the light."